Okay, I'm recording, so I'll move the little faces to the other side. Ooh, my aunt is joining us. Hi, Heidi. Okay, y'all, so my aunt, she's a speech therapist and she lives in California. So I invited her to our study group as well to see if she wanted to join. So she could give us some speech insight. Okay, so you guys can see the PowerPoint, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, cool. I'm not too good with the Zoom stuff. Okay, so we're gonna go through we're gonna start from the top. We're gonna start with all of the philosophical underpinnings. I have been doing a lot of studying from the A section. So I did have a lot of stuff that I had created that I was gonna share with you guys. So I'll go ahead and start, and then everybody else can just jump in whenever you guys have anything to say. I also was telling everybody that I put a bunch of test questions that I found in there as well, so that we can use those to kind of bounce off ideas and see what we think. So A1 says that we as Bcba should know how to identify the goals of behavior analysis as a science. And then there's description, prediction, and control. So from Cooper, description is defined as the collection of facts about the observed events that can be quantified, classified, and examined for possible relation and other known facts. And then you have prediction, which is going to be your second level. And that is being able to repeat your observations and reveal that two events consistently co-vary with each other. And then the third highest and most important is control. It's the most valuable and useful to development of technology for changing behavior, AKA establishing a functional relationship. And that is where we say that our intervention does indeed have an effect on our dependent variable. They also talk about phylogeny and ontogeny, and I wanted to see if maybe I could get you guys to define those for me, because those are the two that I really mix up. And on the quiz questions that are coming up, those are gonna be coming out. So can anybody share their knowledge on phylogeny?
So phylogeny behavior that is inherited.
Okay. Inherited.
Genetically inherited, that is.
Okay. So phylogeny is something that is genetically inherited. Okay, and then so ontogeny, what is that one?
That would be organisms' interaction with the environment.
Okay, organisms' interaction with the environment.
And that'd be more related to like operant behavior and things like that.
Okay. Operant. So basically what we study. Okay. And so then I also created this little visual to help me kind of look at the steps of scientific understanding. So description is on the bottom, and then you have prediction and control. So as behavior analysts, we have to be able to describe the behavior in some type of observable and measurable term. So that's what I think of as the description portion. And then the prediction portion is used to predict that one event will occur in the presence of another. So an example that I like to put real life examples. So one that I made up in my head, I was like, okay, so whenever it's raining, I have observed that my boyfriend will wear a hoodie and wear the hood because it's a rainy day. So I can predict that the next time it's raining, he's probably going to wear that hoodie. That's just kind of my example of prediction. Does anybody else have a different real life example of prediction? So it's basically what we do all the time. And then the last one is control. So control is the most important level that determines a functional relation between the dependent variable and that manipulation of the independent variable. So this is showing that indeed our intervention does have an effect on the behavior. Do you guys want to go on to the questions that I found? Okay, so question 1. What is the phenomena under study in ABA? Functional behavior, operant behavior, socially important behavior, or conditioned behavior?
Is it socially important behavior?
Yes, the answer is socially important behavior. So that is what we study. We want to make sure that it's socially significant to our client, socially significant and important to them. Okay, what are the 3 levels of scientific understanding? Description, prediction, control, depiction, proficient, control, depiction, prediction, control, description, proficient, control.
Description, prediction, control.
Yes, so those are the ones that we just went over. Description, prediction, control. What attitude of science is based on facts? Experimentation, replication, parsimony, or empiricism?
Empiricism.
Empiricism.
Yes, empiricism is what we study, and it's based on facts. What is the highest level of scientific understanding?
Control.
Control, yes. All right, you guys are getting this a task list. Okay, someone else is hopping on. Okay, Kathy just passed the Bcba exam and is starting her first case. She interviews Sunny's parents and asks them why he engages in such bad behaviors, but they don't know. Kathy asks them to recall the antecedents and consequences of those prior events and concludes that his behaviors are state maintained. What assumption of science did Kathy violate?
I'm gonna try parsimony.
Parsimony?
Yeah.
It said it was empiricism, and that I didn't understand that one very well.
I would agree with is it Eric?
It says that they're assuming stuff, so that's not based on fact.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. It says she asked them why he engages in such behavior, but they don't know why. Kathy tells them to recall the antecedents and consequences of those prior events and concludes that the behaviors are escape maintained. So I feel like maybe she should have observed the behaviors and taken ABC and maybe an FA on her own, and then it would be considered valid? I don't know. Is that what you guys think?
Well, I think empiricism is based on fact, right?
Uh-huh.
So since she's asking them to recall, that is no longer based on fact. You understand? Now they're just thinking. They're not really, they just say things they think happen. So she's not going to base her treatment on fact. Let's assume she's trying to write a treatment plan. The treatment plan is not going to be on fact this time around. It's going to be on assumption. So I think empiricism is right.
Yes, and then somebody in the chat said that there was no functional assessment to prove the function. That's correct. I'm guessing that that's why empiricism is being violated in that situation. But you see, that's why it's good to like talk it out, because those things are going to trip us up on the exam. Okay, so the next one, Kathy works at a school as a behavior analyst and is asked to help consult on Susie's case. Susie's teacher states that Susie will throw her pencil and run out of the room every day. When Kathy asks Susie's teacher to describe the antecedents and consequences of the past, Susie's teacher responds with, "It just happens out of nowhere. She needs a different setting." Kathy proceeds with an observation to further investigate the function of Susie's behavior. Which attitude of science is influencing Kathy's behavior?
Philosophical doubt.
Philosophical doubt.
For that one, I think it was determinism.
Really? Not philosophical doubt?
No, it said it was determinism.
Well, determinism is cause and effect, like believing that if and then statement. If this happened, then this happened. So I think it's philosophical doubt though, but if it says determinism, we need to.
Everything has a reason for happening. Behavior, there's a reason for every behavior. Full and orderly. For determinism.
So do you guys agree on determinism, or do we think philosophical doubt?
I think determinism is right because the teacher said it happened out of nowhere. So like with determinism, nothing happens out of nowhere. Something happens, then something follows.
Oh, yes. And Kathy is not agreeing with the teacher's philosophical doubt. So the teacher's view is philosophical doubt.
That's, yeah.
But Kathy is going to investigate further and find a functional relation. And so she is viewing it in a determinism perspective.
Makes sense now. Yeah, true.
Okay, that makes more sense. So I guess we just have to read the question very carefully and see who it's targeting. Because if it would have been asking how the teacher was viewing it, then maybe it would have been philosophical doubt. Okay. Who described and defined the dimensions of applied behavior analysis?
That was Beowulf and Risley.
Yes, it was Beowulf and Risley. And the only reason why I knew that is because it's on the A5 task list at the end. Okay, which of the following best describes the perspective held by radical behaviorism? Humans have free will. Behaviors can be influenced by private events. Behaviors are controlled solely by private events. human behavior is influenced by another organism's private event.
I'll take a stab and say
I think
behaviors can be influenced by private events.
okay, our behavior can be influenced by, that was exactly what I was gonna choose.
Yes, that is the correct answer. So when Skinner started looking at radical behaviorism, he wasn't denying the fact that private events occur. He was like, yes, people do have feelings, people have emotions. We're not saying that it's not true, but we want to know what the behaviors are surrounding that event and what they look like. So behaviors can be influenced by private events. Yes, she is sad, so she put her head down. We're looking more so at the action of her putting her head down. Therefore, we're assuming that maybe she's sad, but we don't know because that's a private event. But we're not dismissing the feeling itself. We're saying that what we can observe may be influenced by whatever is happening inside. Is that how you guys interpret that as well? Yes. JC said yes. Okay, cool.
Quick question.
Okay.
Quick question. Does everybody know what private event is?
Private event. Do you
Yeah.
want to tell us what a private event is? Because that's a good one.
Underlying are happening.
Because I know private event is what happens inside of you, like your thoughts and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to find out if everybody understood what private event is.
I guess an explanation could be when you relate it to public events. Public events are those things that can be seen. Like you see the boy, let's assume we're saying something like the boy eating, sorry, I have kids around me. The boy is eating the apple because he's hungry. The act of him eating is a public event. We can see that happening. But the hunger itself is a private event because that's something that we cannot see. But
That is correct. That is right. So it's anything that happened inside of you, private event.
Hunger, feelings. Okay. So I put things that cannot be seen. It happens internally, such as hunger, feelings, other, I guess, internal emotional type states. Okay. So that was my super quick, just threw it together PowerPoint on that. And so I was thinking maybe we can talk out the rest of the 8 task list and I can just kind of type it out and we can kind of see what everybody else thinks about the concepts. Is everybody gonna be on the 4th task list?
I'm going to be on the 4th task list, so.
Okay. 5th. Okay, somebody's on the 5th. So I read on the BACB website that even if you, okay, so I graduate in December, so I might make it in time and have my application in by December, so before the 5th. But I read online that even if you apply before, you'll have to take the 5th if you take it in like past December. So I've been studying the 5th just in case. Okay, but we have a bunch of 4th. So I heard that it's not really that different, just the order is different. hopefully. Have you guys gotten that visual guide from the Bill? He has like a visual guide that breaks down the whole task list. It's really cool.
Where can I find that?
I found it on that ABA study page.
Yeah, or you can just type in the Bill Mock exams.
Okay.
Yeah, then it's going to guide you to how to go.
All right. Thank you.
Or I can even copy maybe one of this the next time we meet and just paste it here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so do you guys want to go over some of these concepts, or do you guys just want to throw out random things that you want to study and maybe we can all go through them together?
I think we should just go through it the way you've arranged it. So
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so let me find the definition of selectionism unless somebody already knows it off the top of their head. I always think of like natural selection for that one, but I'm trying to like define it. Okay, nobody has the definition for selectionism. Let me see, let me find it in Cooper. Have you guys tabbed your Cooper book yet? I tabbed mine like they do on the study notes ABA.
no, I've not done that. I just saw that today.
It's so cool. It like makes it way more reinforcing to like look at it, study it. Okay, a theory that all forms of life naturally and continually evolve as a result of the interaction between function and the survival value of that function. Operant selection, by consequence, is the conceptual and empirical foundation of behavior analysis. Continually evolve as a reaction of their interaction between function and survival. So what do you guys take out of that? How can we like simplify that?
I think under the selectionism, that's where we have the phylogeny and ontogeny, right?
Is that
Yeah.
between function and the survival value of that function?
Yeah, because under that you have I read the story about the giraffe in the Cooper book, where it said there are different species of giraffe. Some had long necks and some had short necks, but the ones with the long necks were able to get the food, so they survived. And the one with the short necks were like extincted. That is why today all giraffes have long necks. So that's like that when they were doing the definition, and they were talking about all life form naturally and continually evolve through learning. So because those ones that have long leg kept learning how to get their food up there. The other ones should, and how to escape, because they have long necks, they could see far away, they could see when danger is coming and actually escape. So as they kept, as evolution kept happening, they kept changing. That was the explanation that was given.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. So they're continually evolving as an interaction between function and the survival value of function. Uh-oh. It says I'm running out of time. My meeting will end in 10 minutes. I should have used my other Zoom. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to end in 10 minutes. Okay, so next one, determinism. Okay, so determinism. So that's the one that we were just talking about. The assumption that the universe is lawful and orderly place. So basically what we study as behavior analysts, we believe that behavior is lawful. Nothing happens just for no reason. So you guys will see this a lot in the field where your RBTs are going to be like, oh, I don't know. He just started banging his head out of nowhere. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. But us using determinism, we're like, no, behavior is very lawful. There is a reason why he started banging his head on the table. And so then that's when we're going to look at it, break it down, and ABC it, find out what happened before, what happened after, and determine, I guess, the function of the behavior and the why. The universe is lawful. Everything happens for a reason. So that is determinism. Okay, and then empiricism.
That is a fact. Data-based scientific approach drawing upon observation and experience.
Yeah, so that's the one that we were talking about that's based on facts.
Yeah.
The objective observation of the phenomenon of interest. Objective observations are independent of individual prejudice, taste, and private opinions of the scientist. Results of empirical methods are objective in that they are to anyone's observation and do not depend on the subjective belief of the individual scientist. So all of the hypothetical stuff is thrown out the window and we want to know the facts.
Yep.
Okay, so then we want to know about parsimony.
Parsimony is looking at the simplest theory. All simple and logical explanation must be ruled out.
Ruling out of simple. Okay, so ruling out the simple and logical explanations are considered first, experimentally or conceptually, before considering more complex or abstract explanations.
Exactly, like a child that went to the candy store, and when they got to the candy stand, the child started crying. And the question is, why is the child crying? First, you have to rule out the fact that, okay, maybe he has always been reinforced by candy. Before you now start thinking, oh, maybe something poked his leg, and maybe he's mentally, he has mental issues and stuff like that.
We had a client that he would go into like really severe behavior, like tantrum behaviors, crying, and they started happening out of nowhere, where his behaviors were spiking, and he kept pointing to his foot, and he would say, "It hurts, it hurts." And so we would take off his shoe, we would like examine his foot, and we're like, what is happening? Like we couldn't figure out why it hurt. And we're like, well, maybe he's just making it up, or maybe he's doing it for attention, or maybe that's just, we started making all of these assumptions. When in reality, the mom had accidentally left a sock stuffed in the shoe. So the shoe was too small for him because there was a sock like jammed all the way in there. So I guess that can be an example of like, before you go to the extremes of, oh, maybe he's doing this for attention or escape or whatever, we can just look inside of his shoe and see that there was actually something physically blocking his little toes. So I guess that can be an example of parsimony ruling out the simplest before going on to the more complex explanations. Okay, pragmatism.
What?
Pragmatism. You guys have that one on your task list?
No, I don't. Is that the 5th or the 4th?
I think it might be only on the 5th. Is that a new one?
Does anybody have an idea?
Yeah,
on the
it's actually the 4th as well. So I'll
Okay.
just I have a definition. So
Okay.
basically, how do things come to be as they are? Do what needs to be done. It's just the pragmatism of it. That's what it is. So it's like a probability of A and B, and that's why there's C. The relationship between the setting A and the behavior B, and therefore consequence C.
Okay, so you're saying taking the relation.
The relationship between setting A and behavior B is because of consequence C.
Is because consequence C. Okay, so the relationship between setting A and behavior B is because of consequence C.
Yeah, it relies more on observable practical consequences, how things come to be as they are.
Observable
practical consequences.
Karen, can we give like a normal example?
It's like why would you do what you're doing? That would be my most, in layman's terms, is like, why would you do what you're doing? Why would you replace this is just me thinking out loud. Why would you replace your the cap back on your oil bottle, for some example? Or why would you put the carburetor cap back on your carburetor? It's to prevent something. So
Okay,
do what needs to be done.
Okay, so like, why am I actually studying right now?
Exactly. Yes. So what is the reason for that? An A setting and the behavior of studying, and so what would be the consequence of that?
He would gain more knowledge.
Yes, exactly. So it's just practicality. I'll try and come up with a better example.
Cool. No, I like that.
So it's just practical facts. Why would you do something the way you would do it? You know, the studying thing is a good one too. I mean, we are studying hard so that we could pass this test.
Okay. I feel like we need some quiz questions on those.
Yeah, it's not addressed thoroughly in the 4th edition. It's just a very small, you know, after the 7 dimensions is just very simply explained. There's no detail in it.